And welcome back to Houston Newsmakers, where I'm joined by our good friend Gary Polland, the former chair of the Harris County Republican Party and editor of the Texas Conservative Review. It's must read, by the way.
Thank you. I know you read it, so
absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Hey, we were last together election night, I think. A lot has happened since then.
It was an amazing night.
What's your take so far on what's been going on in the Trump administration?
I call it a work in progress. I think they've done a number of good things, but I think that they've been a little slow moving in getting their team in place. Part of that is the dragging of the feet by Congress, primarily the Democrats, who have decided basically to oppose anything that Trump wants. I think so. We got to give Trump a chance to get his team in place, and of course then he had the hiccup with his national security advisor, and he's replaced him with General McMaster, who I think will be terrific. So I think it's a work in progress. I want to see plans. You know, he's talked about his tax cut plan to get the country moving again. I think people are optimistic about it, but they don't know the details.
What's the challenge about him being able to govern for everybody? Because he's always been kind of divisive, even in his own party before the election. Before he got elected, there were a lot of people who were Republicans who did this when they voted, and now they're behind him. But, you know, shortly after they said, okay, we won, get over it. But that's just focusing on one group. What's the challenge of governing for all? Because right now the protest level is kind of high.
Well, and part of the reason the protest level is high is because the Democrats have encouraged protests, and the country is divided. I mean, that was true during the Obama administration, Cambrell, as you remember, closely divided, and it was a very close election. So what does Trump need to do? Trump needs to do his best to get the country moving again. I would say I'm not going to worry about the protesters and the Democrats and naysayers, but get your agenda going. So if Trump gets his agenda going, we get the economy moving again, we make progress for the underemployed in the country, which is a problem throughout all of our communities. We bring American jobs back. We have a foreign policy that makes sense. That will ensure President Trump being successful. On the other hand, if he gets distracted by, and the guy has lots of things that he's interested in, and he focuses sometimes.
Wait. You just said a lot of things he's interested in. Just go back and say that what you really meant to say.
Okay.
That he has a lot of things he's distracted by.
Okay, I'd say that too. Interested in and distracted by, which I think causes him to lose focus on what the big picture is. And so it's important, at least in my mind, to focus on what you really want to get done and not get distracted by the media, the mainstream media that may not like him or may say things they don't like. That's fine. You know, part of it is, one of the things I like to say in politics is, if you're explaining, you're losing, okay? So keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on what you want to do. If he does that, it doesn't matter what the media says. It doesn't matter what the Democrats say. You do your agenda, and your agenda is successful, then the American people are going to be happy.
We've seen a lot of rallies over the past week or so, a lot of folks coming out really upset about a lot of things. That's happened once before under President Obama. A lot of Republicans did the same thing.
8 years ago.
And you talk about keeping your focus on what's going forward. Is it important? You said you don't think he should pay attention to what they're saying or anything else.
Well, I think that it's more important for him to focus on his agenda and moving the country forward, as opposed to getting into petty squabbles, because you get lost into the weeds. So we have a number of people that are liberal Democrats who show up at the town meetings with conservatives to complain that Obamacare is going to go by the wayside because everyone said they're going to repeal Obamacare. We don't know for sure what it's going to be replaced by.
Right.
So there's anxiety among those folks. They don't know what's going to happen. So that's why I say, if you focus on the public policy aspects of your agenda and advance it, you should be okay, and not get lost in the weeds of people just complaining because they don't know.
Okay, there's a lot going on. The media goes after the shiny objects. We go this, there, and the other place. What's the real progress taking place?
Well, that's the problem with the media, by the way.
Don't insult me.
No,
you're on my show.
No, not you. But generally, the media goes after the shiny objects that Trump throws out there that are distractions from what the real issues
so what's the real progress?
Well, I'd like to see the media. You want to have a national conversation about where we go with medical care in the country? Have a national conversation. You could do a number of shows talking about the various options we have for coming up with a medical plan that won't break the country, but also make sure that people are healthy. We can do those things, but instead we talk about the rabbit trails.
Well, you think
Trump's doing this and he's doing that.
Do you think we can do that without the emotion, the political emotion associated with it? Obamacare versus the Affordable Care Act and this sort of other thing. Can we come together and actually have that conversation without people, it becomes very personal pretty quickly.
It does, but I think we can. I think intelligent, journalists like you, Cambrell, can help lead a renaissance in journalism to have intelligent discussion about issues that face the country and have people get together, not holler at each other, but actually talk about the honest differences in the programs and what they mean to the voters.
First of all, you have great journalistic taste. I must say that right off the bat with me. Let's talk about a couple of things locally. Sheriff decided he was going to drop the process whereby the sheriff's deputies work with immigration. What's your thought about that?
Well, when you read the story, you get below the headline. It actually is a little different than what you originally led to believe. Originally, it was they're done screening prisoners for illegals, but that's not true. What he said is, I don't have the resources in the jail to do it with my personnel, but INS, Homeland Security, is welcome to come in and do whatever they want to do.
Right.
I would have rather had the sheriff go to the commissioner's court if he needs more money to do that, to ask that it be done, because I do think it's important that we know who's in the jail and inform immigration, because we're supposed to.
Okay, Harris County went blue this past presidential election. I know that's a thorn in your side about all of that. What's your thought about what Republicans need to do to kind of take control again in Harris County?
Well, part of
you don't have 1 minute left.
1 minute, okay. Well, replace the present chairman would be a major step, because
he was just on my show last week.
And he's totally out of touch with what's going on in the real world. The other problem is the party failed to reach voters, that is, voters outside of their base. For example, if you talk to voters, how many minorities are on the Republican ticket? Most people will tell you none. Now, you're informed, you know we had some, but most people didn't, because the party's joint campaign never publicized the fact that we had Hispanics and African Americans on the ticket.
You want that job again?
No, I did it for 6 years, a long time. You know, I've been out of office for 14 years, long time. But I am happy to work with the party, advise the party, but we have to have, like Dr. Kleinberg said, our party needs to look like our county. Our candidates need to look like our county. This is not an Anglo-majority county anymore. It is majority-minority. We're all minorities. And so our ticket needs to reflect that. And there are plenty of outstanding conservative, African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians who would like to run as Republicans, have given the opportunity, and we need to support them. We need to help get them into office, and I think voters will support them.
Gary, we've had just enough time to stir things up. Thank you for coming.
Always a pleasure, Cambrell.
Always. Next time as well. Just ahead, though, I've got a conversation with Chris Daniel. We're going to talk with him about the history on Newsmakers Extra and about this bizarre incident that recently happened in his office. What's being done about security there? We'll talk about all of that with the district clerk coming up.